Hi, everybody. How you doing? Good. Can I please request you to give a warm welcome to our wonderful panel today? All the introductions are done, so I'm not going to take any of your time doing that all over again. But I do want to start by asking you, how many of you actually were there in the 70s? Oh, wow. This is our crowd, guys. This is our crowd. There's a lot of you. We can have the house lights on a little bit. Let's see your beautiful faces. My God, you still look like you looked in the 70s. Mom, thank you. Yeah? You know, she used to be the Hema Malini of our colony. Yeah? Something about the 70s, right? And how many of us think it's the greatest, most fertile period of cinema for India? Wow. Rest of you, why are you here? All right, you want to know. So that's why this book came into being. My name is Rohini, and Nirupama, first up, let me thank you for bringing this anthology to us because, as I said some time ago, it's very important for us to have cataloging, have writing, have theorizing about the work that we do. And I think Indian cinema has always been very underserved. It's been serving everybody, but this service has been done by you. So my question is, how do you find time? Number one, and what made you want to do this?
Thank you, Rohini. Thank you all for coming, and I hope you enjoy the evening because we are all here to have fun. All of us are here because we are film buffs. So I'm also a huge film buff, and it was an absolute pleasure for me to make out time for this book. It took 2 years, and Shantanu had come to me with the idea. Incidentally, we met at a function. He invited me for a book release on Soumitra Chatterjee, who's an actor we all love. So that's how I met Shantanu, and he said, you know, I've been thinking of writing this, and what do you think of the 70s? So I thought, sounds good. I went back and I remember calling Syed Mirza Saab because he was one of the people who I've known from my information broadcasting days. He used to be chairman FTII at that time. And his reaction was so good. He said, fantastic, wonderful, I'm buying your book. I said, nahi sir, aapko bhi likhna hai. But he is a prolific writer himself. If some of you know, he's released his book on Kundan Shah recently. I know the psychology of rats. And he was very busy at the time. But he said, superb, and you know, he just went on. We talked for an hour on the phone. He said, 73 to 83 is a period I absolutely adore, and you have all kinds of cinema. You had blockbusters, you had middle of the road cinema, and you had मेरे जैसे गरीब director producers की film जिसकी ticket कोई खरीदता नहीं था, parallel cinema. You know, Aziz Mirza, Syed Mirza, both were making films at that time. So that gave me a lot of encouragement, and then Shantanu and I luckily knew a lot of brilliant film writers, critics, writers, reviewers, were all, many won national awards for the books. And then, fortunately, I had a network of friends in the industry whom I thought I should bring on board. And a lot of them, like Vishal Bhardwaj, Rajat Kapoor, Ketan Mehta, I've known for a long time. And I said, how can I do this book without you? You have to be there. And they were very happy to give their time. Then I reached out to Varun and Sriram, and I must say how grateful I am. Both of them were very busy with their own films, but they made time for the book. So they did that because they are passionate film buffs themselves. That's why you see them both here. So I feel it's a book not just for the lay reader, film buff. Even film research students may find things interesting in it. We have one of our writers is a JNU professor in the School of Art and Aesthetics, Kaushik Bhaumik. There's another student, a PhD student, she's also written, Niyati Bhatt. And then we have the film industry, because for me it was like it's a gift to the industry as well. It's an opportunity for them to look at the larger picture and think about, you know, what is this journey? How did we reach where we are? Going through the 50s and 60s and 70s, and by 70s, which is something we can talk about as we go on in this conversation, I think cinema had started maturing. And a lot of stories had started coming out. And of course, India was going through, it was a decade of great turbulence, as we know. And that was reflected in all the films. So that's how the idea came, and it was a long journey, and people kept joining us. So we have 44 contributors now. So how the pieces were written can make another story.
Yeah,
I've written
and that's
a
probably
bit
our
about
next
it
session.
in the preface, but yeah. So
No, that's amazing. I think it's wonderful to do this, and to start off with, again, I'm going to keep asking you to be part of this conversation with your hands. Come on, put your hands together and let's have this energy going. Thank you. Seniority से शुरू करने वाली हूँ only because sir actually थे 70s में. Sir, I am going to ask you to draw and paint up a picture because when you read the book, okay, anybody has a soft spot for Pune, the city? Anybody? Oh, lovely, lovely. So over to you, sir. What was it like in the 70s when you were watching these films in that wonderful town of Pune? Please tell us.
Well, like I've said in the book, no? I mean, for me, I mean, wherever I used to go to school, everywhere there used to be these posters, and the posters were each kind of, okay, what is this movie about? And then you get to know about the songs. And so every movie, of course, I couldn't watch every movie, but I tried my best to play hooky and watch as many as I can. So it was a great time. I mean, we had all those things which you miss today in movies, you know, the long crowds and the sort of tension whether you'll get in or not. So in Mami, I used to stand in the line, used to almost get that experience, you know, okay, bhar gaya, house full.
I must take a minute to tell the audience here at the festival, which is Mami, one of the things that us film buffs rejoice in is that Sriram sir actually denies a golden pass or whatever, and he stands with us, you know, as he sees the theaters fill. And I think that scene will never leave us. It's a little, you know, it's like a urban legend of, you know, Versova. So that's pretty cool. Yes.
Yeah, so it was that, you know, I mean, you try your best to see as many as they can, and we were very generous viewers, so I used to like almost every movie. So my thing is, Ali, Joshila is not good. Ali, but Devanand is there, gaane achhe, to kharab kya hai? You know, it's like that.
Interestingly, your chapter is titled Guilty Pleasures. And I love that because you've chosen to shine a light on those films that are not so heavily discussed. Is there a reason why you think the guilty pleasures need to be celebrated?
I think so, because I mean, for me, it was very sort of, it was going back in time and visiting all those movies, but I still enjoy, and I feel most people today, at least my assistants and all, when I tell them, I have to implore them, please watch Guide. It's coming on in the theater and so on. Yeah, we'll watch it. But tell them it's online, yeah, we'll watch it. It's coming, so it's like that, you know. So I feel there's a lot that they can gain in their own ways, and I mean, yeah, that's the thing, you know. So I feel there's a whole lot of good movies have been made in that time. Of course, some of them are very cheesy and fun, but that's also okay. But they have great songs, and so, yeah, for me, it's...
You should have been a critic.
I was for some time.
How kind were you?
No, I used to write for Sunday Observer for a little while, you know. So, and I used to work for Trade Guide also. So, I mean, but I read some of those pieces and say, what an idiot I was, you know. So, I mean, मैं कौन होता हूँ ये बोलने के लिए ऐसा, you know.
But were you too kind or were you too harsh?
No, you try to be funny and you try to be all that, you know, you don't, yeah.
It's the trap, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes with critics fall into. This is not about, you know, film kaisi hai, main kaisa lag raha hu. That also could matter at some point. Varun, I'm going to quickly go to you because we'll come back and we'll discuss a little more about the themes of the 70s. But before that, I want to talk to you about your chapter. It's wonderful because you've decided to shine a light. And I think the both of you are, you know, that way similar. It's such a wonderful discussion, a pairing of the two of you, because you've decided to shine a light on those lyricists that just could have been forgotten, and you made sure that they don't get forgotten. So why did you choose this as your topic?
So one, I grew up on Vivid Bharati and listening to Vivid Bharati songs. I mean, I grew up in the 90s. उस समय केबल नहीं था, उस समय कुछ भी और सीडीज नहीं आई थी, कोई इंटरनेट तो दूर दूर तक पता भी नहीं था कि ऐसी कोई चीज़ हो सकती, कोई बताता कि इंटरनेट आने वाला है तो हम बोलते कि आप प्लीज़ आप निकल जाइए यहाँ से, आप हाँ, मतलब ऐसा नहीं हो सकता कि आपका हाथ में फ़ोन होगा, और मतलब फ़ोन ही नहीं लगता था. तो खैर हाँ, तो 90s में the only good thing in my life was the music from 50s, 60s, 70s.
Wow.
80s का music भी बहुत, मतलब as a kid also, I didn't like it. Now I probably like it more. Like now I can appreciate the, you know, the beats of Bappi Lahiri and thoda sa wo that Tofa Tofa Laya Laya kind of a thing.
I mean, come
At
on,
that time,
the 80s, you have a jazz.
no, at that time
you have,
the
Kars.
competition was between, Yahan Kaun Hai Tera and Tofa Tofa. So in my head it was like obviously Yahan Kaun Hai, Wahan Kaun Hai Tera is superior, way superior. तो वो उसमें मेरा जीवन बीता है, मेरे दिन की खुशी वो होती थी। मैं स्कूल लेट पहुंचता था सुबह, क्योंकि वो विविध भारती पे सुबह जो प्रोग्राम आता था 8:15 बजे, और मेरा स्कूल 9 बजे शुरू होता था, वो 8:45 तक चलता था। और मैं फिर वहाँ से दौड़ के कैसे भी स्कूल पहुँचता था, तो बहुत बार पनिशमेंट मिली है, बट फॉर मी दैट वाज द जॉय ऑफ माई लाइफ। So when Nirupma and Shantanu came to me asking, you should write something about music, something about lyrics, because that's one of the things I do in this industry right now. So I thought, why not 70s का music के बारे में लिखना है, but 70s has been in our mind because of pop culture memory has been restricted to just a few things. Angry Young Man, R.D. Burman, Kishore Kumar, maybe like for very, very nerdy people, maybe just the beginning of the parallel cinema movement with Bhuvan Shom and all that. But उसके अलावा बहुत डाइवर्स था 70s। जो जब मैंने याद करना शुरू किया कि मैं क्या क्या गाने सुनता था, तो उसमें ऐसे ऐसे नाम आए जो कि जिनके बारे में ज़्यादा बात नहीं होती है। वो कैफ भोपाली हो या नक्श ल्यालपुरी हो या संतोष आनंद जो है मेरे बहुत ही पसंदीदा हैं, या योगेश हैं बहुत ही पसंदीदा हैं, या ऐसे ऐसे जिन्होंने एक दो गाने लिखे हैं। बाल कवि बैरागी ने रेशमा और शेरा में गाना लिखा है। फिर इसके अलावा नीरज ने कवि नीरज ने लिखा है फूलों के रंग से, या फिर यहाँ तक कि कमाल अमरोही ने गाना लिखा है शंकर हुसैन में। इस तरह की शंकर हुसैन, अब शायद बहुत लोगों को फिल्म का भी नाम पता नहीं होगा, लेकिन आप उसके गाने सुनेंगे तो दे आर लाइक absolutely top stuff. So I thought कि ये बहुत सारे, they are not even hidden gems, they are gems which have been kind of ignored because someone said there are bigger gems around and people went for them. But these things I was just trying to remember for myself, and then in my remembrance they just got on paper, and now others can also go and search for them, I hope. एंड काइंड ऑफ फिगर आउट कि काफ़ी लेयर्स थी और काफ़ी सारे रंग थे 70s के म्यूज़िक में, और काफ़ी सारे मिसकंसेप्शन भी थे। जैसा कि मैंने लिखा है, बहुत लोगों को लगता है ज़िंदगी कैसी है पहेली है, गुलजार साहब ने लिखा है, बहुत लोगों को लगता है, मतलब इतना बार सुन लिया होगा कि गुलजार साहब को भी लगता होगा कि शायद मैंने ही लिखा है, क्योंकि बहुत लोग बोलते हैं, लेकिन वो नहीं लिखा है उन्होंने। वो आप जाके देखें कि किसने लिखा है, लेकिन हाँ तो इस तरह की चीजें।
This is an interaction session.
मैं एक चीज बोलूं, आई थिंक आनंद ने वो योगेश को क्रेडिट देना भूल गए हो, तो इट इज नॉट क्रेडिटेड, ही इज नॉट क्रेडिटेड। इनफैक्ट देयर इज अ स्टोरी आई राइट कि ऋषिकेश मुझे मेट योगेश, सॉ योगेश समवेयर इन द सीनिंग, अरे यार तुम्हारा नाम तो भूल गया।
अच्छा, I've heard a different story, is that they promised initially to योगेश साहब कि आप गाने लिखेंगे, then at some point गुलजार साहब came in, and then because he had promised to योगेश साहब, and then they met somewhere apparently on the same beach जहाँ पे वो गाना शूट हुआ है, ऐसा कुछ कहानी है। तो ऋषिदा ने बोला कि अब आपसे भी एक गाना लिखवाऊंगा, and then they added that song. This is also, but
लेकिन नाम देना शायद भूल गए।
अच्छा,
I have to check in the
के क्रेडिट्स में, एल्बम में तो है,
एल्बम में होगा लेकिन क्रेडिट्स में नहीं,
क्योंकि वो एलपी पे है।
फिर योगेश took his friends and all and went, तो नाम ही नहीं।
Oh,
Yeah.
That's too bad, yeah.
and that's also another thing about 70s. There were so many,
Errors.
these juicy stories.
Errors and errors. Like,
Yeah.
what do you do?
Juicy
Like,
stories
it
is
is.
better.
Yeah.
Better phrase.
Yes, yes, absolutely. I do want to ask the two of you, because you put this anthology together, and because you are such a lover of the time, why do you think the 70s was so fertile? Okay, when it came to so many sorts of cinema, as Inakshi, beautifully mentioned in her introduction. Have you sat back and said, why hasn't there been a decade like the 70s again for us, or what led to it?
I guess that's part of the brief as an editor. You have to think about these things. Yeah, actually, most of us contributors to the book happen to be Gen X, as the Americans classify us. So you know, we were very small in the 70s, our schooling and college were in the 80s. But like Varun starts with this piece, he says, I'm born in 80 and I hate that decade. So 70s is precious to me. I think most of us watched a lot of these films actually on Doordarshan later. You know, if my memory serves me right, because those days, I mean, kids didn't have the kind of agency that they have now, that they decide everything. They take the screen and you have to ask their permission before you watch something. So our parents would possibly take us only for blockbusters. You know, nobody would say कि वो छोटी सी film लगी. And that's something you must read Rajat's essay for. He mentions this, that my father was kind of crazy and he took us to watch Mani Calls Duvida when no other parent would. They would say, पागल हो गए क्या? Why do we waste our money on Mani Call, a famous Uski Roti, of which I think some other director said कि वो Uski Roti दो ही लोगों ने देखी, something. So very uncharitable, of course. So I think it was definitely, see, all cinema is, I mean, I've said this countless times, I don't want to become too pedantic, but cinema or art is always a product of its times. It's definitely affected by the socio-economic, political circumstances of the time. So 50s, we know, was a very idealistic, post-independence, Nehruvian era, and you had great filmmakers. I mean, 50s actually, if I can say that, Varun, is one of my favorite periods for that reason, because I have an idealistic bent of mind. So for me, Bimal Roy or Satyajit Ray in the East, or these kind of people, they're very important. Bimal Roy is a director I really respect. He's a school of filmmaking, because it was all his assistants who later came in the 70s. Rishikesh Mukherjee, the editor. Gulzar Saab is the assistant director. Salil Chaudhary, who was a writer and lyricist, he wrote Parak also, right? They were brilliant people. And later Basu Chatterjee joins them. I call them all the Bimal Roy school, frankly. Basu Bhattacharya also made this lovely marriage trilogy. They inherited the best of, that time it was to be called neo-realistic cinema. I think Sriram will tell you better because he studied this in FTII. I haven't really done any film course. Then 60s was more romantic. We needed that, and we needed to see these lovely, beautiful foreign locales. So I remember there used to be this ad, Ramanand Sagar ki aankhein. I don't know how many of you remember, because he shot this spy caper in, I think it was shot abroad, probably in Japan and all, Beirut and all. And then you had Shakti Samanta showing us an evening in Paris. And again, Shakti Samanta, who brings Kashmir into our popular imagination with Kashmir Ki Kali. So color was, color started attracting audiences. Love in Tokyo, I was just reading. Yes. So Love in Tokyo.
Those were the
and
late
then,
60s.
Yeah. And also Dev Saab, I mean, I give a lot of credit to Anand Brothers. They're one of my favorite film families. We really owe them a lot. He discovered Sikkim, Jewel Thief was shot there. So all these, they really connected all of us, We didn't realize this at a time, what service they were doing to us. And then they also had a way of putting their politics in their films very subtly, because Dev Saab, if you remember, made, in 1970, he made Prem Pujari, which was a super flop. But I love that film, because he's a pacifist. The film throughout is about, it's anti-war. And Chetan Anand made 2 war films, if you remember, Hakikat of the 62 war, and then for the 71 war, he makes Hindustan Ki Kasam, which is completely different and I didn't like at all. It was very, very, I'm a Pakistan bashing kind of film. But so you see the change. By 70s, we had gone through actually 3 wars, 65 as well. Corruption had seeped into public life. Everybody knew there was corruption all around. There were things like hoarding, black marketing, smuggling, because of heavy taxes, custom duties. So suddenly all the villains changed in our films, right? So you had a lot of smugglers. The 70s full of these exciting creatures, the villains. And if you read Balaji Vittal's, Balaji has written this piece on villains. They were all, promoting consumerist culture, whiskey or having the good life. So the villains had the good life. The hero was always the Sida Sada poor guy or, kind of struggling. Unemployment was huge, inflation was a big problem. So you saw that in the films. So Roti, Manmohan Desai makes, it's again about, somebody who starts stealing because he needs roti. Roti, kapda aur makan is the biggest metaphor of that time, that film, the songs. So, and then emergency. So Andhi comes. So that decade, there was so much happening, lots and lots. So story is completely changed.
Thank you. And yes, we want to hear you, Nirupama.
Sorry,
So
just a
no more
stupid joke.
disclaimers at the start of your answers, please.
नो जस्ट अ स्टूपिड जोक. वो 70s में सारा सोना जो है वो वर्सोवा बीच पे आता था. तो मैं उधर ही रहता हूँ. और आज अगर वही आएगा ना, वहाँ सोना उतरेगा तो 50 एस्पायरिंग एक्टर लेके भाग जाएंगे उसको. लाइक हम अपनी फिल्म बना लेंगे, इंडी फिल्म इसी सोने से.
Yeah, at that time we are angry young man. Now
उस
you'll have
समय के
angry young
स्मगलर को
actors.
बताओ कि यहाँ पे एक दिन कॉफी बाय डिबेला होगा जहाँ पे तुम सोना उतार रहे हो. They'll be like, what is that?
Versova Jetty, man. Like, so romantic. Sriram sir, I do want to take you back to that time simply because from a socio-political perspective, that was masterclass. Thank you so much. Quick refresher for all of us. But I want to ask you, do you think by the time the 70s hit, as a nation that was making movies, we had kind of found our grammar, our language, and also at some level we were done with the experiments and now we were ready to play. Do you think that that matters in this context as well?
See, I can't give an analytical answer about something when I was growing up, So when I'm 10, 12, 14 years old, so I'm also watching the movies. Like when Ankur came, we all, hey, this is a new kind of movie, and this kind of a, when Zanjeer came, hey, this guy is like this. I mean, I remember Zanjeer and Anamika released almost, I think the same day. And there was a whole debate in my house, ki kaun sa jaane ka hai? And somehow I read the review of, my uncle had also read the review of Zanjeer. He said, this seems like a good film. So, Anamika also is not bad, but it's like that, So I was growing up in that thing. Then I just felt ki over the 10 years, now if you take Zanjeer, and you take Arth Satya, for example, which is just after, as the 80s begin, it's almost like the same character has changed. The things have changed. So it's, I think, that kind of a growth. I remember when we saw Namak Haram for the first time, you see Amitabh almost being the angry young man being born in some scene, I mean, that's what we used to think. Like, this is the scene where, yeah, that kind of thing. So it's all school class discussions and.
I also think the ijad of the masala film, to own the masala film, we have to own it. I think that we, at some level, the 70s gave it to us, and we've never let go of it, which is so wonderful. I think the 90s was another phase where we loved our masala, and now we try to do the masala to get the audience in the theaters these days. Yehi hai masale ka kaam. But let's go back to that term itself. And Varun, talk to me about your favorite masala films of that time. Maybe even one that, what classifies or qualifies as a masala film. I'll give you mine, and that'll always be Amar Akbar Anthony. Just a crowd pleaser, favorite. Any Amar Akbar Anthony fans in the house? Yeah. Yes. Love it. It also, it was fun and entertaining, but it was still, the philosophy was there at its core. And I think that is the one thing about 70s I do want to talk about, which is the philosophy was always there.
Yeah, easy answers actually, क्योंकि मसाला फिल्में वही थी जो ज़्यादा चली हैं, so they are more commercial films. So I mean, Sholay is an all-time favorite. Sholay is like क्या है ना, बाकी शोले को मैं तो वर्ल्ड सिनेमा में मतलब जो टॉप 50, टॉप 20 जो भी होंगे, अगर हर देश से एक कॉमर्शियल अच्छी फिल्म चुननी है तो शोले शुड बी देयर. बिकॉज बाकी क्या होता है ना, दुनिया में ज़्यादातर फिल्में जो अच्छी फिल्में होती हैं, दे आर लाइक वेरी मिचलिन स्टार शेफ की बनाई हुई एक डिश जिसमें एक तरह का स्पेशलाइजेशन होता है. इट कुड बी व्हाटएवर, बहुत अच्छा हैंडमेड पास्ता है और उसमें घर की गाय के दूध का बना हुआ चीज़ है और है ना, वो सब है. लेकिन शोले इज लाइक अ प्रॉपर बिरयानी. ओके, उसमें 50-70 इंग्रेडिएंट हैं एंड द बैलेंस इज जस्ट परफेक्ट. सब कुछ है उसमें ह्यूमर भी इतना बढ़िया. अगर आप सिर्फ उसके कॉमेडी सीन निकाल के देखें, और कई बहुत सारे सीरियस सीन्स में कॉमेडी है, तो कॉमेडी टॉप क्लास, एक्शन टॉप क्लास, इमोशन टॉप क्लास, द बैक स्टोरी और द कॉन्फ्लिक्ट का एक जो पूरा आर्क है वो कमाल का है. एक हीरो मार देते हैं, सॉरी जिन्होंने नहीं देखी है, बिग स्पॉइलर, आई एम नॉट
been
टेलिंग
a
कौन
couple of
मर
years,
जाता
guys.
है, तो आप हो सकता है आप वेट करें उस सीन तक कि कौन मर रहा है दोनों में से, बट तो इस तरह की बहुत ही डेयरिंग भी है इन अ कमर्शियल सिनेमा, यू आर किलिंग वन ऑफ देम एंड दैट टू, आई एम नॉट सेइंग हु, बट
I love this. I love this suspense.
इट्स नॉट लाइक कि आपने मतलब तेजाब में आपने ये विवेक ओबरॉय के पापा कौन है, सॉरी, सुरेश ओबरॉय को मार दिया है, इट्स लाइक है ना, मतलब आपने तेजाब में वो, हाँ हाँ, ही कम्स, सामने आ जाता है वो लास्ट में, तो नहीं ये एन चंद्रा वाली, तो ज्यादातर फिल्मों में पता होता था कौन मरने वाला है, क्योंकि आपको पता है जो एक्टर की कम फीस है वो मरने वाला है वो अगर लव ट्रायंगल है तो वो वही मरेगा, ठीक है, वो गोली ले लेगा सीधे लास्ट में, तो बहुत कमाल का, बिल्ली से ज्यादा अच्छा रिएक्शन टाइम होता था उनका कि आ गए सामने, बट सो शोले डेफिनेटली, यादों की बारात अनदर वन विच इज just like pure drama, you know, pure drama, great music, great looking actors, सब कुछ उसमें बहुत ही सुंदर था, और क्या कमाल का, मतलब शुरू के जो 15 मिनट में ही जो एक सेट होता है आपका, मतलब यू आर जस्ट एंटरिंग द फिल्म और आपका दिल अटक जाता है कि अरे उसकी ट्रेन चली गई, वो उधर चला गया बेचारा, और बच्चे हैं, ये भी नहीं कि ग्रोन अप धर्मेंद्र पीछे छूट जाए तो नो वन केयर्स, दे आर लाइक हाँ ठीक है वो पहुंच जाएगा, तो बच्चा छूट गया जो बाद में
हाँ बिल्कुल. Baby Amir Khan.
no but I'm saying in the film
Yeah, the emotions is high stakes, no? Because
या
they're kids.
तो वो मतलब कितनी कमाल की चीज है और कितनी डरावनी चीज है, खास करके एक बच्चे के लिए, है ना, और बच्चों को वैसे ही डराया जाता है, ट्रेन से मत उतरो, स्टेशन पे उस जमाने में डराया जाता था, तो वो फिल्म वाज द परफेक्ट थिंग टू शो टू किड्स कि ऐसा होगा, तुम कहीं रह जाओगे, फिर गाना भी नहीं तुम्हारे
गाना
पास,
गाते रहोगे।
कोई फैमिली सॉन्ग भी नहीं है, तो क्या करोगे, कहाँ जाओगे?
You know, this is what I love about the 70s, right? This unabashed, there is a family song. मतलब हमारी पूरी फैमिली एक गाना जानती है, हम गाते हैं, and that is the quintessential like ingredient of masala, right? It's this suspension of disbelief that everyone believes ऐसे ही होना चाहिए सबके घरों में, and that's lovely. But there's also style, you know, and I think I want to
I
spend a
just
few.
wanted to add a family song composed by R.D. Burman, not like ये नहीं घर में
ऐसा
बना
वैसा।
दिया है पापा
हाँ
ने,
जी, बिल्कुल,
मतलब बहुत अच्छा गाना R.D. Burman का.
I also think that we developed our own sense of style, you know, as a country. We knew what we wanted to wear. Suddenly, there was a little bit of money. We could wear the bell bottoms. Suddenly, we could have the popped collars. You know, our girls could look like Zeenat Aman and be believable because they just had great bodies. You know, these are things that we never saw in the movies. Suddenly, our movies looked better than they've ever looked before. And I think that, as you rightly said, kahin na kahin at the end of the 60s, ye shuru ho chuka tha. I think Vijay Anand, the master of style, like kind of like introduced us to these. Dev Sahab, okay, always made sure that everybody looked, you know, the whole vibe was a certain way. But do you think that this style, you know, was also something very essential to the 70s?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, there is one chapter written by Niyati Bhatt. She's a PhD student called Kya Khoob Lagti Ho. It's so apt because, you know, by that time people were, if you, I mean, we of course haven't seen this, but all salons would have Rajesh Khanna hairstyle and Amitabh later. I think the men may know this better. And suddenly people started aspiring to wear what the heroine was wearing, and they would go to the local darzi and get it made. So there's something Vishal mentions, you know, the bobby top, the knotted top of Dimple Kapadia and the skirt, especially a place like Bombay, because Bombay had a lot of Catholics and Parsis who already used to wear skirts, right? Maybe not the rest of North India, it would be scandalous, but places like Bombay, these fashions caught on very fast. So it was the first time that, you know, those days you didn't have ready-mades, no? There was no pret-a-porter and all these designers, fancy designers. But the Rajesh Khanna, Kuru Kurta, all these became big. And I'm a huge fan of the styling in Sholay, I must tell you. That denim on denim jackets are killers. You had never seen blue jeans on screen before that. So it was a huge jump. And then, of course, Zeenat Aman and Dev Saab, I mean, completely changed the image of the heroine. And that decade is very rich in the kind of female characters you have. Each one dressed absolutely different and clearly defining who she is. If you see Aruna Irani in the Bobby song, or that what's it called? Jis uska chhota ghar baar sansar, right? And Aruna Irani also is there in Milli when she taunts Amitabh. That's one of the chapters in my book. Nandini Ramnath has written about it, and she tells Amitabh that ये ड्रेस मैंने डिजाइन की है, उस नाम रखा है प्रोवोकेशन. कैसी है? And Amitabh is very offended. बहुत ही घटिया है. So you had these amazing women characters wearing.
And they were, most of them were
gorgeous different
employed.
costumes.
Either, कुछ तो काम कर रही थी वो
हाँ,
औरतें
of
जो
course, they were
जो
hard
completely
working
disappear हो गया
women.
90s में, because 90s में they were all पापा की परी, पापा मुझे केक दो, पापा मुझे ये दो. And but the 70s woman, okay, like you take even Basanti, वो टांगा चलाती थी. You take the other women, okay, so you take anybody, Maushami Chatterjee for example, there she's walking in the rain, but वो अपने मतलब she bunking work, she's come to do this romance, for example, so all of these characters.
Again, Rajnigandha, for me, it's one of my absolute favorites of this decade for a reason. Because before that, you had Satyajit Ray making Mahanagar, I think in 60 probably. It's the first time they show a woman stepping out of home to earn a living. And then you had two movies which did Rajnigandha and Tapasya. I think Anil Roy directed that. And Rajnigandha, Basu Chatterjee, of course it was based on a novella by Manu Bhandari, who is one of the leading Nai Kahani movement writers in Hindi literature, very important. Manu Bhandari and Rajendra Yadav, her husband, who wrote Sara Akash, on which Basu Chatterjee made his first film. So Manu Bhandari's story was the reason why Rajnigandha was so good. And because of Rajnigandha, you for the first time saw what working women wear. So again, this is in the book. So you saw this fabrics, cotton, Swiss voile and Georgette. For the first time, women wearing these, they used to be called Bombay dyeing saris, later the only Vimal, if you remember, Reliance. So these were wash and wear saris. So they completely changed a woman's life. I mean, places like Bombay, where you know how the pace of life is, for a working woman, it made a hell of a difference because you didn't have to iron this sari. So you see that in Rajnigandha and Choti Si Baat. And I think that's an amazing thing. It's a record of, the history of our nation, of the times. So it's a very important decade that way too. Working women started, appearing on our screen, leading absolutely normal lives. And Rajnigandha is about the working woman. Correct. She is the protagonist. She gets a job offer in another city. And it's her dilemma the movie is dealing with. Should she go to the, the new place where her ex-boyfriend suddenly, she meets him again, or should she come back to her old dull life and her boring fiancé played by Amol Palekar? So I thought it was a fantastic decade in that sense. I mean, the working women.
I haven't looked this side for a while, but I'm sure eyes are lighting up, a lot of memories are being, tossed around. You guys are having a good time? Yeah? Okay, let's hear from Sriram at this point. Sriram, you have to, next 5 minutes only you talk, nobody else, okay? So, it's a man of very few words. It's a bit hard, but I do want to take you back to style. What do you think qualifies as your favorite sort of style moments? Because for me, Amitabh Bachchan in that green shirt when Helen's dancing Ye Mera Dil is the most stylish fabric I've ever seen on screen. And he's wearing it, right? What qualified for you at that time as style? Did you think that it was a stylish decade?
Shirt, which happened by accident. There are lots of such, I mean, what she said about Sholay, I mean, that costume was like, we should just love that Amitabh's red t-shirt and jeans and both of them actually, So, I don't know, I didn't particularly look at clothes as a
No, when I say style, I mean not just what they were wearing, but also the way they were
the entire
presented.
film, the way they were.
Yes, because I think that there were a lot of films that the films were talking to us, with the story, but also to us. Yeah.
For me, we all talk about masala and filminess and all. When I was watching Yaadon Ki Barat, for me they were utterly realistic films, So they are watching them, absolute, this is it, kind of thing. Only when you see realistic film, real, like Ankur, or you see Nishant, then you say, okay, this is different. And so that's how we grew up. So for me, Jugnu is as realistic as any other movie.
But they're also very stylish
Yeah,
movies.
that's
no?
what.
The other
I used to
is
love
very stylish.
the
yeah.
dens and the torture ideas. How they won't kill a guy normally. कुछ चलता रहेगा
Liquid
15
oxygen
minutes
में
से.
डाल दो.
नहीं, even those gadgets they used to devise, कि यहाँ से कुछ आ रहा है, यहाँ से कुछ आ रहा है.
Parvarish mein, yes, you're right. They'll slowly come and close in on the heroes. Yeah.
So
Crush
at
them.
some point you start getting, hey, this is getting too much. But that either you're growing or those films are getting sort of repetitive. So
I know you've written an entire chapter about guilty pleasures, but just for the sake of this audience who will now, on their way out, pick up a copy of the book, why don't you share one of those guilty pleasures with us and tell us why exactly, precisely, you love that film?
well, for example, one of the movies, but that's, Yadon Ke Barat is one movie I really, even today, sometimes I just play that last when they all meet finally, and Dharminder's expressions and all is like too good. And yeah, so many such movies. Roti I love very much, Manmohan Desai's film. Now I've written about that, So Roti, apparently, how did he get the idea? Ki usne ek din, Manmohan Desai used to be, I don't know if you have seen many of his films, but he's made some wonderful films and so he saw one news item which said कि one man killed another guy for a roti. कि रास्ते में किधर बाइकुला में कुछ हो गया ऐसा, अच्छा देखा है. In another page there was a news item about Mexico में some guy was going to be hanged, executed in an open sort of not jail, open sort of place where it was going to be hanged. And one chopper comes and rescues him. So he told his writer, ये दोनों item मिला के एक कहानी बनाते हैं. और उस कहानी में श्रवण कुमार भी आ जाता है और बजरंग बली भी आ जाता है and everything else comes in, but these are the two. So I love that, and also the movie when it ends, you're like, it's a tragedy. You're saying this movie becoming a tragedy with all this, fun and chaos. It's like, and it's a very believable tragedy. I used to get tears. यार ऐसा हो गया. देख तेरी मांग मैंने अपने खून से भर दिया है. इस टाइप का. But I used to believe it.
Love it. Just all of those
In
tropes.
Roti Kapda Aur Makan, there's a scene when Zeenat Aman is dying and Manoj Kumar's blood actually drips onto a mang. Okay. Yes, I'm not
Of
making
course.
it up.
That's
on
Roti
screen.
Kapda?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
When he's Bharat.
Because similar kind of thing happens in Zindagi Ki Na Toote Ladi is
That's Kranti.
क्रांति
80. Yeah.
उसमें भी
हाँ.
वो मतलब खैर वो
But,
मनोज
पहले
कुमार used
रोटी
to do
कपड़ा.
lots of this nature helping you. I think clerk में है where
Gravity helping you.
no where he's smoking and she's like Hema Malini is standing like 30 feet away and she's inhaling that smoke and that's how they are making love in a way.
Wow.
Yeah, he's like smoking
Okay.
and
Love
she's
it.
like
Okay, so Manoj Kumar films were my guilty pleasure. I must tell you. I've written about Manoj Kumar in defense of Manoj Kumar. I think some of
But
his
he is
films are
made,
brilliant
he's
too.
got a wonderful style. His song picturizations are
Very
excellent
amazing.
actually.
Absolutely. I
And even
love
things
that.
like Hi Hi Majboori and all that
Yeah,
are
yeah,
like
yeah.
wonderful
Absolutely.
song
I
situations.
love that. Yeah, absolutely. I Am Majboori is one of the best rain songs ever. I'm sorry, I have to argue against Gen Y when they write Indian cinema peaked in this song, and then you see Tip Tip Barsa Pani. I'm like, thank you. No, even verse is Soti, Student of the Year. Indian cinema peaked. Like,
No,
क्या
no.
देखा है
आपने
यार?
peak देखे नहीं है.
It gives me heart
It's
attack.
like, you just उसके पीछे भी खड़े हैं दोस्त.
Yeah, just one, because Manoj Kumar song picturization, absolutely terrific. So this song, which is also one of the songs I refer to in my underrated lyrics, is Ik Pyar Ka Nagma Hai. Now, if you see that song, actually, just see the video. So the song is like multiple times in the film, but this one, the main song with On the Beach, Manoj Kumar, Nanda and the kid, if you watch it on mute, because the song is for you is a kind of puts it into the Hindi film context, but if you watch it on mute, it not kidding, it looks like Fellini shot it, kind of a thing. The kind of angles, the kind of bizarre frames. Yeah, there is like वो जाल है, फिर mirror है, फिर multiple images हैं. It's crazy. Similarly for that Barish song,
Hi, Majboori.
no, the
पानी रे पानी.
हाँ, पानी रे पानी
पानी,
तेरा
for
रंग
sure,
कैरा
yeah.
कैसा. Now, if you see, the whole song is shot on either track in or track back. track in track. That's how he has designed the entire song, and it gives different emotions every time on what line is going in, on what line is coming out. Then another, that cycle song, the
Jeevan Chalne
Jeevan
Ka
Chalne
Naam.
Ka
Jeevan
Naam.
Chalne Ka Naam, the whole song is like, they have, they, he
they
used
were
to
wonderful
do a lot
One of
imaginative
his
ideas.
best films. Sure was
Yeah.
definitely one of his best films. Very
I'm
well
glad
done.
organically
Very
we've gone
well
to
done.
music because we must talk about the music. Quickly, just because we are going to open, questions to the audience. We have what, 10 minutes of Q&A with you. So at some point a mic will come to you. So think of your question and who you want to ask it to on the panel. But if you had to pick your favorite soundtrack of the 70s, it's so hard. It's so hard. But if you had to pick like a song, what would you pick? Or, the picturization we spoke about, just in terms of writing, because I think that what happened was suddenly the nightclub became okay to go to in the 70s, all right? And that happened a little in the late 60s where suddenly we were going into clubs. It was okay, Rocky और band को देखने के लिए regular लोग भी आते हैं. आशा पारेख भी साड़ी में बैठ जाती है club में. So the club was no longer this sort of bad place or evil place. And I think R.D. Burman took that and he said, I'm going to have fun, because suddenly we heard instruments we'd never heard before. Suddenly the sound of the music changed. And for the lack of a better word, there was a heavy Western influence that we were all okay with. So there was this, we're all chill girls, we're wearing denims, we're smoking cigarettes, we're in bars, and we can dance to tunes that sound a little like ABBA as well. So that happened in the 70s. So do you have a favorite song of yours from that era?
So many songs. So I don't know. सारे जो सबको जो अच्छे पता हैं R.D. बर्मन के, और वो सब छोड़ के I'll then go to something slightly different. शंकर हुसैन is an album
Lovely song.
which I really love. 4 ही गाने हैं लेकिन चारों
खयाम
एक
साहब।
से एक कमाल. खयाम साहब का म्यूजिक है, और क्या क्या गाने हैं. उसमें एक गाना है अच्छा उन्हें देखा है, वेरी डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ कवाली. देन आप यूं फासलों से गुजरते रहे, कहीं एक नाजुक भोली सी
नाजुक
लड़की,
सी
कहीं एक नाजुक
भोली सी
भोली
लड़की
नाजुक सी
ना. सो एक से एक कमाल के गाने. और ये एल्बम जो है वो मुझे लगता है कि मतलब वन ऑफ द ग्रेटेस्ट एल्बम्स ऑफ दैट पर्टिकुलर डेकेड. सिमिलरली आई फील फॉर गमन, जयदेव साहब का. और उसके गाने सबने सुने हैं लेकिन लोगों को वो फिट नहीं होता है कि ये उस डेकेड का है या जयदेव साहब का है या ये किस फिल्म का है. तो गमन एक, और जयदेव साहब ने उस पूरे डेकेड में बहुत ही कमाल के एल्बम दिए हैं. रेशमा और शेरा एक और बहुत ही कमाल का एल्बम है. बट या वन शंकर हुसैन.
Thank you so much. Mine's Abhiman, I just want to share. But Nirupama, let's hear from you.
Very difficult, and that's why I loved Varun's chapter, because a lot of the songs he's mentioned are my absolute favorites. So other than R.D. Burman, Kishore, of course, up there, their songs give you sucker. Honestly, any Sunday, any weekend, you just pick up any Lata Kishore duet, it'll make you happy, for sure. Okay, and especially the Rajesh Khanna films. Anytime, easy listening, right? But Jaydev and Khayyam Saab, 2 music directors I just absolutely adore from the 70s. The good part was that you had 2 of our greatest lyricists who were still writing, Sahir Saab and Majroor Sultanpuri Saab. So Sahir, imagine the person who wrote Fir Subah Hogi and Pyasa. He is now composing Kabhi Kabhi, and Kabhi Kabhi not just, of course, his own poem Kabhi Kabhi, which is a more serious poem, or Main Pal Do Pal Ka Shair Hoon, Khayyam Saab has directed it, but also he writes a song for the rebellious youth who is Rishi Kapoor. Now Rishi Kapoor had already come in with Bobby, so he writes प्यार कर लिया तो क्या प्यार है खता नहीं, तेरी मेरी उम्र में किसने ये किया नहीं. And the beats are so fast, of that song. I think that was partly because R.D. Burman forced music directors to kind of change the rhythm. People don't realize this. You have to think of what is working also, right? Directors, producers can't be making films which will not make money. It's a silly thing to think that they'll just make it for the sake of, art. It doesn't happen like that. You have, jobs. You have people to feed also, and people need to earn money. And songs were very important at that time. So you have to find songs which will sell. And then once you had an R.D. Burman album, believe me, films used to get sold out just on R.D. Burman ke naam pe. So Khayyam Sahab wrote these, and then you had Jaidev continuing. Absolutely brilliant. I think he won his 2 national awards in the 70s, one for Reshma Shera and another film. But I was just yesterday remembering how Sahir Saab wrote in Hum Dono, they wrongly called the smokers anthem, मैं जिंदगी का साथ निभाता चला गया, हर फिक्र को धुएं में उड़ाता चला गया. By the time you come to 70s, look at how the vocabulary has changed. Partly because of Kishore, which means youth, by the way. So Kishore was, Lataji once called him the voice of the virile man. It's such a good description. Because you had these manly men in our films at that time.
And he sounded
Dharmendra,
like that.
Vinod
For us,
Khanna,
yeah, all of those songs, the
Rajesh
hero.
Khanna, right?
Bilkul.
So later, men became boys. Let's not go there. That's the Khans.
That's another book.
Eternal.
That's the next book.
Yes, boys. Shocking book. Chocolate, right.
But I do want to acknowledge at this point the longevity of the writer at that point, because you said, Sahir Sahab ne 70s mein jo likha,
Yes.
and he echoed the youth. And then to that, I remember Majru Sahab,
Yes.
who wrote what he wrote, back then. And then with Amir, he said, Papa kehte hain, bada naam
Absolutely.
karega.
Majrooh Sahab just kept going on.
I mean,
He's
you
like
just think,
Gulzar, very adaptable.
how did you do that, right?
Even a film like Yadon Ki Baaraat, which is actually something you learn, that's the privilege of being an editor. You meet a lot of these very scholarly film writers. So Deepta Kirti Chaudhary is one of the writers. He, for the first time, had written that Yadon Ki Baaraat is technically the first Hindi masala film, which had various genres, musical, drama, revenge, etc., etc. So that's why a very important film and a great, very stylish film, of course. So even in a song like Chura Liya Hai, actually this girl is like talking to her boyfriend who she suspects will be commitment phobic, okay? So she says, Chura liya hai tumne jo dil ko, nazar nahi churana sanam, badal ke meri tum zindagani kahin badal na jana sanam, right?
Gen Z ke liye wo term kuch aur hi
Look at the
hai.
way he has kind of made it a youth song, but again, retaining the Majrooh touch. I thought that was really brilliant. And sorry, I just wanted to finish with the Smokers song. So there's a film called Fasla in 74. I love this song. There's this Jaidev Saab song written by Kaifi Azmi, which goes like this, Zindagi cigarette ka dhuan, ye dhuan jata hai kahan, right? It's such a good song. So I think R.D. Burman had a lot to do with this, the kind of
100%.
rhythms and beats and,
Yeah, and
contemporary.
it's so sad that we have very little time today because we want to open it to
but
the
you can
audience.
ask Sriram his favorite
I
songs.
want to,
Please.
ask Sriram sir,
Yes.
music.
Since we're all talking about R.D. Burman, so I'll say Kalyan Janji. I'll say Johnny Mera Naam actually as a movie which, there are many more. Dawn is Aparadh is Kalyan Janji, which has been sampled by Black Eyed Peas. And so Kalyan Janji, I think they're really funky. And then so many other movies. Safar is, so they have done another range in Saraswati Chandra and, all kinds of movies. And we all talk R.D. Burman, but they've also got equally a kind of a list of movies, some terrific ones. And Johnny Mera Naam, especially because it's one of my favorite movies, and I'm also wearing that T-shirt. And also it's like, usme jo Govind Bolo, ek bhajan hai, which is like a thriller, actually. It's a very, very thrilling moment in the movie, but it's a bhajan going on there. So stuff like that, a combination of, these guys, Vijayanand and Kalyan Janji. I think one more story I can share, which is like apparently Vijayanand went to Kalyan Janji for this one song, and they said, "Tum to kya fayda? Tumhara bhai to kabhi hamesha haath hirata hai aur kuch karta nahi hai." So pal bhar ke liye was sort of so the set was broken down to make all those windows, so just to change the thing. So it had a lot of ideas.
I love it. There is a chapter that Sriram sir has contributed to the book, but there is a PS to that chapter. And in case you're fans of his movies, I'm just going to leave you with one film title, which is Ek Hasina Thi. So when you read the chapter and the PS, just remember Rohini Ramanathan said Ek Hasina Thi, and maybe something will click and you'll have fun. But as I promised you, as always, it's my attempt to make this as interactive as possible. So I would love for you at this point, we can have some more house lights. Let's see our friends in the audience. First up, I hope you enjoyed the conversation. Guys, if you did, please tell us. We're only scratching the surface. How can I do justice in 45 minutes to a decade of the richest in Indian cinema? But thank you so much for being so kind and so generous. If you have a question, you can raise your hand. A mic will come to you and you can ask the question. Dharmendra Sahab, क्योंकि आपका नाम धर्मेंद्र है, पहला सवाल आप पूछेंगे.
Thank you. I have two questions, if you can accommodate both. First is to Mr. Raghavan. According to IMDb, Sidney Sheldon is one of the writers of Ek Hasina Thi.
According to IMDb, acha, good.
Yes.
Because, see, actually, I was not the writer of that film. That was, I mean, the sort of the basic premise of Sidney Sheldon's book of an innocent girl going to jail thanks to a horrible boyfriend. That much is there. And then, of course, but it's not a remake of that because I've seen the remake of the film version of If Tomorrow Comes. And also read the book, a lot more happens. But yeah, the basic idea is taken from there, so they are right probably.
Okay, great. And the other question is for everybody. Do you feel, on an average, there is too much logic or more logic today and less magic than there was in the 70s?
More logic, less magic.
Today compared
Less
to the 70s?
magic for sure, but save a few films. That's my opinion.
I agree with you.
Okay, yeah.
Thanks for such a detailed answer.
Thank you so much, Dharmendra. Could you pass the mic to somebody else who'd like to ask a question? Bharti ji, it's so nice to see you here. Yes, we're there. Hi.
Yeah, hi. Hi, I have like a couple of questions. One is open to the panel. So I was thinking about the display, the overt, explicit display of politics in the films that have evolved from 50s, 60s, 70s, right? Like Naya Daur, or what we were talking about briefly, how Andhi was banned based on Indira Gandhi. There were a lot of social class struggles which were shown, which were there at different points in time, right? How India evolved after independence. How would you look at the display of politics today in films? Which are they more hidden in metaphors and allegory because of the right reasons, which we can't say it out loud? Or there are films which are still explicit out there and they are there for everyone to see? So that's one part of the question. And second is, which is more generic, that maybe 50 years down the line, if we conduct this event again, how would that generation look at this era of filmmaking? What would the title be, according to you guys? So, yeah.
Oh my God. So 50 years from now, hopefully I'll be dead. So that's a good start. I won't be here. And I would think that it would always be called one of the most seminal decades of Indian cinema. I don't think the impact of this would go anywhere. That's my point of view. Also, आज के ज़माने में, if I may answer this question, बनाने ही नहीं देते सर फिल्में, काहे के political फिल्में बनाएंगे, है ना? Over to you.
Actually, about the quality of films, what I want to say is, I think there are a lot of brilliant filmmakers around now. 80s and 90s were horrible decades. I think Varun and I agree on this at least. I hope you do too. We had terrible, all the filmmakers who had peaked, to use this word, like Yash Chopra, Manmohan Desai, Prakash Mehra, started doing terrible films in the 80s. 90s also was more or less a washout, but filmmakers like Vidhu Vinod Chopra, Vishal Bhardwaj started coming in, followed by Sriram Raghavan.
No, Ramu was there in the 90s.
Yes, Ram Gopal Verma, yes, exactly, Satya. Yeah. So now I think we have lots of brilliant filmmakers. We have Ansar Mehta, Anubhav Sinha. Two of them are sitting here. Varun has just made a film. So the quality, definitely post 2000, 2003, it's again, I mean, gone up. Yeah, absolutely. I think we had lots of great stories and great films now. Masan, I mean, Varun was one of the writers. So, I mean, these are the kind of films which will be talked about forever. If, you know, Masan went to Cannes, and so Ankur is again being shown there, and Nishant again was shown a few years back. These are films which will always be relevant and will always have an audience. They have a global connect, universal appeal. So I think we have a lot of great films being made now.
Thank you so much. We'll go to the next question. There are hands raised here. Hi.
Hi, after Dharmender, this is Endeavor, but I'm not the lyricist. Okay.
Thank you for clarifying.
Compliments to all of you for bringing to life the doyens of Indian cinema so wonderfully well in such a short span of time. The question is, today's generation, their attention span is too less.
Sorry, we can't hear you. Huh?
The attention span of today's generation is too less. So making a movie where the media is so judgmental, there is so much of competition for entertainment time, the OTTs and all these things, amidst all of that, if you're still able to make a commercially viable cinema, attracting the attention to so many genres of audience which are there, I think it's a phenomenal feat. Now, if you compare this with what was there, let's say Sholay, where apparently in the first few days, the audience was not there, and the show was on, and then it became a year-on-year the movie was being shown. So the question is, how do we kind of find out the virtues of today's cinema, as he rightly asked, say 100 years down the line?
I don't think there is any factual evidence to suggest that attention span is falling. In fact, there is enough evidence to show that attention span is increasing. If you see, earlier people used to see one film maybe a week. वो थिएटर में आती थी, एक हफ्ते में एक आती थी, वो देख लेते थे. अभी लोग नए शोज बिंज वॉच करते हैं, 8 घंटे 10 घंटे, एक रात में एक पूरा सीरीज खत्म करते हैं, 6 सीजन 6 दिन में खत्म करते हैं. So obviously it's not about attention span at all. It's about too many choices, so that is there. But attention span actually, and I am a creator on YouTube, and all the data on YouTube suggests that actually videos over 15 minutes are doing better than videos under 5 minutes. Okay, so there's no evidence. It's just a media created theory which everyone is running with, but it's not true.
Thank you so much. I'm so sorry. I know you may have lots of questions, but we'll take one last question from the gentleman here, because that's why, sir. And my eyesight is not bad. Yes, last question, because now we have something very exciting that we really want you to, witness.
I have two questions, and they're not complicated or difficult to answer, but one's for you, Varun. You discussed lots of things about the 70s, right? The music, the actors, the style, the women, and all of that. You didn't discuss the comedians, right? So I want to ask comedians, the comedians, the people who acted as comedians. So I just want to, since you are also a stand-up comedian, as a part-time job, so I just want to take your thought on how you thought you would look at how the comedian role changed, in the 70s, right? Because one of the things that we noticed was that a lot of mainstream actors also acted as comedians in their movies, right? That was one observation. Second thing was you alluded, alluded to the villains of the 70s, right? And the extreme form of villainous behavior that they were showing, right? Who was your favorite villain for all three?
Wonderful question.
Thank you.
Favorite villain?
Favorite villain?
बहुत
आप
बढ़िया
पहले वो बताइए. मेरा तो पहला सवाल का जो आपने पूछा comedians के बारे में, I don't think that time it was, it was kind of a residue of what 50s and 60s में जो comedy होती थी उसका एक residue था 70s में, because 70s में things changed a lot. I mean, of course, शोले में there was सूरमा भोपाली एंड महमूद साहब की बहुत सारी फिल्में थी जो बहुत अच्छा उसमें कॉमेडी ट्रैक था, बट आई डोंट रियली look at that with great appreciation now. For me, the other things were way better than comedy tracks in those films. Villain
and favorite villain. I think this is awesome. This is fun.
Favorite villain.
So we'll start with you.
हाँ, मतलब आप भी बताएं, आप शुरू करें, मैं सोचूंगा.
Actually, I love Pran Saab, but by the time the 70s began, he had sort of started switching to character roles and all kinds of roles. But yeah, I mean, I would say, but I like as much. I mean, this Prem Chopra, I love. I worked with him also. So Amjad Khan, of course, I've met him. I've not worked with him, but I love these guys, the bad guys.
Absolutely.
So when I was talking to Subhash Ghai, obviously we discussed Sara Sheher mujhe Loin ke naam se janta hai, and Ajit is somebody, you know how popular Ajit jokes are. So he had a completely different image and swag, and it was amazing. But Amjad Khan was a great actor. I mean, he's done very different roles. Of course, again in 70 Shatranj Ke Khiladi, he plays Nawab Wajid Ali Shah. I think Gabbar Singh was a pretty, he really cut through the clutter, because his prototype was Jabbar Singh, who's very handsome Vinod Khanna with the tika in Mera Gaon Mera Desh. But by the time, I mean, look at the styling in Sholay. You suddenly had dacoits who were using horses, but he was wearing khakis, right? It was
The pant shirt.
complete.
वो धोती नहीं पहन रहा
And
था.
वो खैनी chabana and all that. So, I mean, great job by Salim Javed and everybody and Ramesh Sippy. I think he really completely changed the look of the dacoit. Yeah, upgraded.
I think they
yes.
really upgraded the villain.
Yeah, yeah.
But the
Very
dacoit drama, there's no article on the dacoit drama, no? Dacoit movie. There were a whole
Not
lot of them.
separately, yeah.
Whole lot of
but,
them.
yeah,
No, just
dacoits
if you haven't
changed.
watched it yet, just from me to you, please watch Kill, because you see the Dakus get such an upgrade in 2024. Have you watched Kill? Do you know what I'm talking
I'm
about?
going to watch it now.
Please watch it. It's my recommendation.
I would say, of course, Amjad Khan was there, and Premnath was like really, one of those imposing looking villains. I think Danny was great in Kohra. Kohra, that was
Yeah, yeah.
Dhund. Sorry,
Dhund,
Dhund.
Dhund,
हाँ,
Dhund.
Dhund.
Yeah.
Dhund mein he was great. He was
Yeah.
very chilling and very, very non-villain
Again, a very
type he was
stylish,
playing.
villain,
He
very
was playing very.
Yeah, he was scary
He
in
was
that
quite scary because
Yeah.
he was again playing against the whatever the trend of those times of being, looking like larger than life.
yeah.
He was very ordinary and still quite villainous. So yeah.
Well, thank you so much. And thank you for being such a wonderful audience. I hope you enjoyed the evening. But don't go anywhere, because you registered for an evening. We'll give you a full evening, right? Until now, we've only been talking. But what is the 70s unless we put the swing in it? It's called the swinging 70s for a reason. So at some point, I'm going to request all of you, हया शर्म छोड़ दीजिए, और अगर आपको गाने पसंद आए तो हमारे साथ थिरक लीजिए, because up next, to recreate that very era, we've got a very, very talented musician coming on stage to leave us with the best songs of that era. Would you please join me in welcoming the wonderful Neha Karode and guitarist Jobin David, who are going to now take the stage and set it on fire. Thank you. From us, thank you. Please get a copy. This is an amazing anthology. Sriram Raghavan, ladies and gentlemen. Nirupama Kotru and the wonderful Varun Grover.
Good evening. Hope you all had a good time. I'm here to make you guys have an even better time, because we were discussing music a lot, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you must have started humming some tunes in your head. So I'm going to be singing only tunes that everyone probably knows. So I hope you all can sing along with me. हवा के साथ साथ अरे रे 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 घटा के संग संग संभलना हवा के साथ साथ घटा के संग संग ओ साथी चल मुझे लेके साथ चल तू यूं ही दिन रात चल तू संभल मेरे साथ चल तू ले हाथों में हाथ चल तू ओ साथी चल मुझे लेके साथ चल तू यूं ही दिन रात चल तू संभल मेरे साथ चल तू ले हाथों में हाथ चल तू ओ साथी चल साथी चल ला 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 la 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 la. चली जाती हूँ किसी की धुन में धड़कते दिल के तराने लिए चली जाती हूँ किसी की धुन में धड़कते दिल के तराने लिए मिलन की मस्ती भरी आँखों में हजारों सपने सुहाने लिए हो चली जाती हूँ किसी की धुन में धड़कते दिल के तराने लिए ये मस्ती के नजारे हैं तो ऐसे में संभलना कैसा मेरी कसम तू लहराती डगरिया है तो फिर क्यों ना चलूं मैं बहकी बहकी रे मेरे जीवन में ये शाम आई है मोहब्बत वाले जमाने लिए हो चली जाती हूँ किसी की धुन में धड़कते दिल के तराने लिए ला 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 तराने लिए इन्हीं लोगों ने 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 ले लिया दुपट्टा मेरा इन्हीं लोगों ने ले लिया दुपट्टा मेरा इन्हीं लोगों ने इन्हीं लोगों ने इन्हीं लोगों ने इन्हीं लोगों ने ले लिया दुपट्टा मेरा इन्हीं लोगों ने ले लिया दुपट्टा मेरा दुपट्टा मेरा दुपट्टा मेरा पा 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 हमरी ना मानो रंग रेजवा से पूछो हमरी ना मानो सैया हमरी ना मानो रंग रेजवा से पूछो हमरी ना मानो सैया हमरी ना मानो रंग रेजवा से पूछो रंग रेजवा से पूछो जिसने गुलाबी रंग की ना दुपट्टा मेरा इन्हीं लोगों ने ले लेना दुपट्टा मेरा Now I'm going to be singing some songs that everyone most definitely knows. And I want you all to join in. पिया तू अब तो आजा शोला सा तन दहके आगे बुझा जा तन की ज्वाला ठंडी हो जाए ऐसे गले लगा जा Monica, come on, join me. Oh, my darling. Oh, Monica. Oh, my darling. प्यासे प्यासे इन मेरे लबों के लिए तेरे होठों ने हजार वादे की भूलने वाले कोई जिए तो कैसे जिए अरे हाँ अरे हाँ अरे हाँ प्यासे प्यासे इन मेरे लबों के लिए तेरे होठों जागी मैं सारी रैन सारा जहां सो जाता है आंखों ही आंखों में हाँ यारों का दिल खो जाता है para para pa 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 Thank you so much. My name is Neha Karori. This is Jobin David.